Good evening and salutations, my YNR fans. You know, every time I get a chance, well, every time it's really good and I get a chance, I do YNR reviews. And this one was good, and we'll talk about it tonight, right? We'll talk about it tonight, but I want to talk about the scene with Phyllis, Billy Boy, and Daniel. Okay, because I got a real good question. Why the hell is Billy trying so hard to get a unemployed man to join his company? Let me tell you how laughable this is. And I get it. I'm not a complete dick. I understand that he's, Heather and everything like that. I get that. But, he starts saying things like, oh, that's nice. Yeah, I don't know. This guy is giving you an opportunity. The fact that he actually said towards the end, give me a night to think about it. Are you going to use that time to sit there and think about how your bank account is dwindling? Like, are you going to sit there and think about that? What's the backup plan? You plan on dipping into Lucy's college fund? Because it's laughable when he's asking a basic question. What do you want to do? Do you want to do art? Do you want to do gaming? What do you want to do? He asked that question. He's sitting there looking like, what? I'm like, bro, are you on Zaza or Walter White? It's like he asked you a basic question. And I know I keep harping on this, but there's something that's just laughable and kind of frustrating at the same time when Mom Dukes is like, listen, we can do this, we can do great things and things of that nature. Like, this is a really good opportunity for us. And he's just kind of sitting there like, I don't know. And part of me is like, Billy, listen, you got more patience than I do. Okay? Because I'm pretty sure as savvy as Phyllis is, I would have been like, you know what, listen, I'm going to do this with or without you. And if I got to do it without her, I'm cool with that. You either going to get down with the get down, or you can get your ass back on the unemployment line. The fact that Jack actually has faith and gave him not just his blessing, but his capital, that should be more than enough. Could you give me the night to sit there and think about it? Yeah, sure. He was like, bro, listen, when you come in, you have to be 100% committed. We're not doing half measures. Okay? You working in the big boy leagues now. And seeing how you got fired unfairly, by the way, by Lily. And then so he leaves. Well, Phyllis is like, listen, go start the car. And he tells Phyllis, hey, listen, I'm going to Paris for a couple of days. And Phyllis is like, no, you can't do that. That's a distraction. Oh, it's Sally? Oh, no, you can't. Phyllis, let me tell you something. You need to sit down and work on getting your damn son on board. That's what you need to be doing. And all this other, you can't go, you can't. And he said, he was like, well, listen, if you're not on board, you're not on board. So this whole texting and calling and all this stuff is mute. Okay, get your damn son on board, and then we can sit there and talk. Then he sees Sally, and they talk for a little bit. Well, by the way, Chloe's back, and, well, one of Chloe's favorite pastimes, by the way, in case people forgot, is sit there and shit on Adam. But she doesn't just shit on Adam, but she also talks about how Billy is pretty much a failure at everything, particularly in relationships. And pretty much is like, hey, listen, he's fun, he's exciting and everything like that. He's a good time, but he's not a long time. But then she also talks about how she's in a boring marriage and everything like that. So I'm kind of just like, you're not really selling this here. Um, but, Sally wants to entertain her because, let's be honest, Sally, some women are just not meant to be friends with other women. That's Sally. That's also Carly, by the way. And that's actually, now I think about it, it's also Phyllis, too. But, yeah. And then afterwards, Phyllis is sitting there trying to work Billy, trying to work Daniel, and Daniel's like, I guess this is really important to you, isn't it? And here's the thing, it's laughable, the fact that she has to sit there and drag her 40-something-year-old son into this job that he is just handed to is just laughable in general. And again, I'll talk about this tonight, but I want to sit there and talk about this now because usually I'm like talking and answering questions and stuff like that. So it's like, let's just get this all out here in the open. So, Holden. One of the things that Holden said after they, talk and stuff like that, and Amy's like, oh, I want to see my son. She doesn't say why she wants to see her son. She just sits there and says that, it's a matter of life or death. And Holden's just like, how sick are you? So afterwards, they try to convince him, Nate and Amy, and Holden's like, I'll see what I can do. So he goes back to Damon, and, he pretty much like, I got exposed, and Damon's all upset and everything like that, and, this is when Holden's like, your mom is sick. You know what Damon says? She's been sitting there well all her life. Do you not understand how life works? Part of it is just, here's the thing, I'm not trying to be sarcastic. I'm really not. But some of the lines that they give these people, you would sit there and think like their brains just work in a different realm. She's been well all her life. Yeah, until you're not well. And he tries to make it seem like it's just big opposition, like, oh, I don't know about seeing my mom. And I'm just like, what? It almost, the way he talks about her, he just comes across as it's very ungrateful. He comes across as very ungrateful and kind of unlikable. I'm kind of just like, can we also keep Holden? I mean, I know we gotta sit there and deal with Damon a dick, but like, can we also just keep Holden? It's like, I'm totally cool with keeping Holden. And while Nathan they're talking to Amy, Amy's like in all these games and everything like that, and sends somebody else, and what is going on? And one of the things that Nate says is maybe he got his money and his power through shady means. He did sit there and say he had some trouble in L.A. Then he goes back, then you see the previews and he's talking and like he's just being very defensive. I don't know what wound up happening. I mean, honestly, to tell you the truth, if you stop and think about it, it's like, what could be so bad that you practically disown your mother? And don't get me wrong, I've seen mothers on soaps where it's like, yeah, I can see you might want to, spend a little distance away from your child, like, I mean, from your mom. I mean, General Hospital, you got, what was her name? It wasn't Harmony, which is like the worst type of stepmother, somewhat mother you can possibly imagine. She put her daughter in a cult, and Willow still considered her a mother figure. Unless Amy sold you to a cult, I don't understand what's so. I don't get it. I really don't get it. I feel like, in some ways, that this story with this Damon and Holden and and seriously, think about it for a hot minute. You sent somebody else to scout out the whole situation. And I get it on some level, like, okay, maybe that's not, maybe it's a scam for Nate or whatever. He doesn't know Nate. But still, you want to send somebody else to sit there and pretend to be you. You doing all that instead of just. He was all mad and all like, puffing up his chest. I'm like, bro, why don't you just go there and talk to Nate yourself? You doing all that other, spy games and everything. And again, how the hell did you know what, listen, I hope that it comes out that Damon's like, okay, cool, I'm glad that, we was able to sit there and convince the PI to sit there and kind of switch to Team Damon or something like that. Because otherwise, that just doesn't make any sense. It just does not make any sense. But here we are, it's Young and Restless, and I guess on some level I can appreciate it as over the top as it is, because, well, it's not General Hospital, and it's not dealing with, the Drew story and the toxicness that comes from it, so that's a plus. That's always a plus in my book. If you, didn't check out that video, and I know I'm talking to the Young and the Restless fans, this is more about actors being attacked, which I found out something really interesting. I gotta really search for it. Apparently, Joshua got slapped by somebody in real life because his character was cheating on Sharon. I hope that chick went to jail. Anyway, that's pretty much all I got. Miss anything, write in the comment section below. We'll come to the live stream tonight, 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific. We'll talk about all the shows, General Hospital, Days of Our Lives, Bold and Beautiful, and Young and Restless. See you in the next video.